They call it the Golden State, a land of dreams where sunlight touches ocean, and the past seems to shimmer just out of reach. But California has another side, a darker reflection beneath the gold. Beneath the canyons and deserts, along the forgotten highways and lonely coastlines, the ghosts of those who came before still wander. Tonight, we follow 3 of their stories, of love and loss, of greed and guilt, of the light that fades at the edge of paradise. This is Haunting Legends, the Shadows of California, the Lady of the Golden Gate. It rises out of the mist like a memory, steel and shadow stretching across the water. The Golden Gate Bridge, San Francisco's proudest monument, and one of its darkest. Since it opened in 1937, thousands have come here not to cross but to end. But among those stories, there is one that has never faded. The story of the Lady in the Mist. The first reports came in the 1950s. A truck driver heading north across the bridge late one night saw a woman standing on the sidewalk, wearing a long white dress that rippled in the wind. He slowed, worried she might be in danger. But when he looked back, she was gone. A few years later, a security officer saw her too, this time standing in the fog itself, her hair drifting as if she were underwater. When he approached, she turned her head toward him and smiled. He said the air turned colder than ice, and her face vanished into vapor. Locals say she appears only when the fog is thickest, walking the bridge from end to end, sometimes stopping to look down into the black water below. Some say she's the ghost of a woman who jumped into the bay the year the bridge was finished, heartbroken, unnamed, and forever tied to the span she leapt from. Others believe she's older than the bridge, a spirit of the strait itself, born of the sailors and souls who never made it back to shore. They say that if you stop your car on a foggy night and listen, you can hear her humming through the cables, a tune that fades when you try to remember it. And if you see her standing there, don't stop, don't speak. Just drive on and leave her to the fog, because the bridge always keeps what the sea gives back. The Curse of Bodie, high in the mountains of Northern California, where the wind never stops blowing and the nights fall hard, there's a town that refused to die. Bodie, once the wildest gold mining camp in the West. In the late 1800s, 10,000 people lived here. Miners, gamblers, thieves, and the women who tried to survive among them. They came chasing gold, but what they found was something darker. Violence ruled Bodie. They said a man could be shot for snoring too loud. Fires burned the town again and again. And each time, the survivors rebuilt it, as if cursed to repeat their misery. When the last mine closed, the people left. The wind stayed, and so did the curse. Visitors to Bodie State Historic Park tell of strange things. Footsteps in the dust, music from a piano that no longer exists, the smell of cigar smoke in rooms long abandoned. But the strangest thing is what happens when people take something from the town, a nail, a rock, a piece of broken glass. Within days, bad luck follows. Accidents, illness, heartbreak. Every year, the park receives dozens of letters from tourists begging to return the items they stole. They call them apology letters. Some are short. Please take this back. I can't sleep. Others come with long confessions. Stories of car crashes, fires, divorces, all after leaving Bodie with a souvenir. Rangers say they keep the letters in boxes, hundreds of them. All return to the same place, the dust and silence of the ghost town. And at night, when the wind blows down from the mountains, you can hear the sound of old voices. Miners laughing, doors slamming, the echo of a town that refuses to rest. So if you ever visit Bodie, take pictures, leave footprints, but never take what belongs to the dead, because Bodie remembers, and Bodie collects. The vanishing riders of Death Valley. In the desert, sound travels farther than light. In Death Valley, it carries whispers through miles of emptiness, voices that don't belong to the living. Travelers tell of phantom riders who cross the sands at night, their horses silent, their faces hidden beneath wide-brimmed hats. Locals call them the riders of the lost 49ers. It began in the winter of 1849, when a group of settlers tried to cross the valley on their way to California's gold fields. They were told it was a shortcut. It wasn't. Their wagons broke, their animals died, their food ran out. By the time help arrived, only a handful were left alive, gaunt, hollow-eyed, staring into the endless dunes. One man, delirious from thirst, looked back as they were leaving and whispered, "Goodbye, Death Valley." The name stuck, but not everyone left. That night, a dust storm rose, and when it cleared, some of the dead were gone. Their bodies were never found. Since then, travelers camping in the dunes have seen lights moving through the darkness, like lanterns swaying in an unseen hand. Others hear the rhythmic sound of hoofbeats, slow and steady, circling their camp, and some have seen them up close. Riders with empty eyes, their skin grey with sand and time. One trucker in the 1980s claimed he stopped for a group of riders on the highway just outside Furnace Creek. He thought it was a reenactment group until they passed through his headlights and vanished. They say they're cursed to ride the valley forever, searching for the path they never found. And when the wind blows just right, you can hear them call out, not for gold, not for water, but for mercy. So if you ever camp beneath the stars of Death Valley and you hear hoofbeats in the sand, don't look, don't speak, just wait for the wind to die and pray it doesn't stop at your tent. You've been listening to Haunting Legends, where the land remembers what time tried to forget. From the fog of San Francisco to the silent sands of Death Valley, California glows with stories that never fade. They just change their shape. Leave a light burning and join me next time as we travel deeper into the shadows of another forgotten land.